Hi, welcome to my channel pibyme Maths. This is Devan. In this video, we'll be looking at October-November 2019 Pure Math 2 paper. So let's jump into question number 1. A curve has equation y is equal to, open the bracket, so we'll get 2x cubed minus 10x square. Find using calculus the x coordinates of the stationary points. Whenever you want to find the x coordinate of the stationary point, you need to differentiate the function once and equate it to 0. So you're going to get 2x square becomes 6x square, 10x square becomes 20x is equal to 0. Take x as a common, 6x minus 20 is 0. So equate it to 0 separately. So x is 20 over 6, which is 10 over 3. That's all. Part B now. Find the values of x for which the function is increasing. This is the condition for increasing function. And the first derivative will be less than or equal to 0 for decreasing function. So here the function is given as y, so the condition is dy over dx is less than or equal, increasing function greater than or equal to 0. So take the first derivative, 6x square minus 20x is greater than or equal to 0, divide throughout by 2, 3x square minus 10x is greater than or equal to 0. You need to find the two critical values, x is 0 and 10 over 3. Here you don't need to show the working again because we have shown the working here already in part A, and this is just a 2-mark question. So this is basically a quadratic inequality. How do we solve it? We sketch a little graph. Since coefficient of x square is positive, it's a U-shaped parabola. 0 is here, 10 over 3 is here. Now when they say greater than or equal to 0, they are talking about these two pieces, and the corresponding x values are the solutions, these two x values. So the solution is x is less than or equal to 0 or x is greater than or equal to 10 over 3. That's all. Question number 2 now. The adult population of a town at the start of 2019 is 25,000, okay? 25,000 at the start of 2019. A model predicts that the adult population will increase by 2% each year. Okay, you need to remember this. I have explained this in one of the other video already. There are two things you need to understand. When something is increased by same amount every year or every term, that's arithmetic. When it's increased by same percentage every time, that's geometry. But in this question, you don't need to worry about it. They mentioned it already, geometric sequence. Okay. Now, there is something else you need to understand. When they say we know it's a geometric series, so it is going to be increased by same percentage every year. The percentage is given 2%. Okay. If it's 2% and increase by 2% every year, R is going to be 1 plus 2%, 1.2, 1.02. Let's say 60% every year. Then R is 1 plus 60 over 100, which is 1.6. Remember this. If the question says something is decreased by 5% every year, you have to write R is 1 minus 5%, which is 0.95. If it's decreased by 30% every year, 1 minus 30%, which is 0.7. That's the easiest way to find R. You don't need to show any working. So in this question, at the start of 2019, it's 25,000 and it increased by same percentage every year, so that the population of the adults at the start of 2000 year following 2019 will form a geometry. Okay, this is a geometry. Find according to the model the adult population at the start of 2032. Okay. At the start of 2020, that's the second term, right? At the start of 2021, the population at the start of year 2021, that's the third term, right? 2022 is a fourth term. But when you find the difference, you get 1 here. when you find the difference you get 2, but actually it's a third term, right? The same way for 2032, when you find the difference, you're gonna get 13 is the difference, so it's gonna be 14th term. Hope you understand this. So you need to write A is 25,000, the first term. Common ratio R is 1.02. They want you to find the 14th term. A, the formula is A times R to the power 14 minus 1. That will give you the answer. 25,000 times 1.02 to the power 13. 32340.165, etc. So we are talking about number of people here, so just remove the decimal and write it as 32340. That's all. Part B now. It is also modeled that every member of adult population give £5 to the local charity at the start of each year. Okay, find according to these models the total amount of money that would be given to the local charity by the adult population of the town from 2019 to 32 inclusive. Okay, from 2019 to 32, from part A we know there are 14 terms, right? So we are going to find the total number, total population as sum of 14 terms. The formula is A, the first term, times R power n minus 1 divided by R minus 1. And then every person is giving 5. So you need to multiply this by 5. You will get the answer. So it's going to be 25,000 times R power 14 minus 1 divided by R minus 1. Get this answer. Times it with 5. Give your answer to the nearest 1000. So when you round it to the nearest 1000, 19967 becomes 70. So 1,997,000 pounds. That's the answer. Just a 3-mark question. Question number 3, binomial expansion. Find the first 4 terms. 1 plus x over 4 to the power 12. A power n, A is the first term, plus nc1, n is the power. A power n minus 1, 12 minus 1 times second term power 1, plus nc2, A power 12 minus 2 times second term power 2. nc3, 12c3, A power 12 minus 3 times second term power 3. Now we need to carefully simplify this. 1 power anything is 1. So 1 plus 12c1 is 12, 1 power 11 is 1, x over 4. 12c2, put it in your calculator, it's going to be 12 times 11 over 2, which is 66, times x square over 16, plus 12c3. 12c3 is 220 times 1 power 9 is 1, x cube over 4 cube. Now simplify it. 12 over 4 is 3x. 66 over 16. 33 over 8 x square plus 220 over 64. 55 over 16 x square. We got all the 4 terms already. Let's move on to part B now. Find the term independent of x, that means the constant term, the term without x in this expansion. Okay, here I'm going to divide each of them by x power 5 separately. X square divided by x power 5, 8 over x power 5, times, write the binomial expansion here, 1 plus 3x plus 33 over 8 x square plus 55 over 16 x cubed. This term, right, x square over x power 5 is basically 1 over x cube, right? It is 1 over x cube. Okay, now you need to check manually when you multiply this term by which term you are going to get a constant term, a term without x. Definitely when you multiply this by x cube, the x cube will get cancelled, you will get a constant term, right? Okay. How about this one? You have to multiply this term with the term which has x power 5 in it. So when you multiply, you get a constant term. Okay, this is how they are going to trick you, because if you stick to the answer from part A, there is no x power 5 term, right? There is no term involving x power 5. So you cannot just take this times this and write the answer. You will lose more. So even though you haven't found the term involving x power 5 in part A, for part B you have to do it. You have to do it. So what's the easiest way to do it? Use the general term formula, NCR A power n minus R B power R. That's a general term of a binomial expansion. So here A is 1, n is 12, so 12CR, 1 power anything is 1, leave it, x over 4 power R, right? But we are talking about x power 5, so definitely R should be 5, right? So you can just write the term here. You don't need to write the whole expansion, just find the particular term. 12C5 x over 4 to the power 5 will give you that particular term with x power 5 in it. Okay, you don't need to, this is just for your rough working. So now to find the constant, I'm going to multiply these two, x cube will be cancelled, so 1 times 55 over 16 plus, I'm going to multiply this term by this, so it's 8 times 12C5. 12C5 is 792 times 1 over 4 power 5, because the x power 5 will get cancelled, and then simplify it. So you're going to get 8 times 792 times 1 over 4 to the power 5. Okay, and we already have 55 over 16 here, plus 55 over 16. The constant term is going to be 77 over 8. That's how you get the constant term. So you need to be very careful. Even though there is no x power 5 term in part A, you still need to calculate it just for part B, so that when you multiply these two, you will get a constant term. Question number 4, part A. State the remainder when f of x is divided by this. So when you equate this to 0, x is 3. So to find the remainder when f of x is divided by this, just sub in x is equal to 3 into the function. So f of 3 is equal to, since x minus 3 is here, this whole thing becomes 0. This is going to be the remainder, minus 35. Because this is the divisor, this will be the quotient, plus or minus the remainder. So this is the remainder. That's just a 1 mark question. You can straight away write this. Part B now. Given that 3x minus 2 is a factor, so equate 3x minus 2 is 0, x, write it as I'm working, 3x minus 2 is 0, so x is 2 over 3. Since it's a factor, when you sub in this into the function, the value of the function will become 0, because there will be no remainder, right? Because it's a factor. So you need to write f of 2 over 3 is 0. So in the function, replace x by 2 over 3. 2 over 3 minus 3. 3 times 2 over 3 whole square plus 2 over 3 plus a. Minus 35 is equal to 0. And make a as a subject. 2 over 3 minus 3. 2 over 3 minus 3 is minus 7 over 3. 35 goes to the other side, so we'll get minus 7 over 3 times, this becomes 2 square is 4 over 9, but times 3 when you cancel, 4 over 3 plus 2 over 3 plus a is 35. So when this number goes to the other side, becomes 35 times minus the reciprocal of it. Here it's 6 over 3 is 2. 2 plus a is this. This is basically 5 7s are 35 minus 15. The 2 also comes here, therefore a is equal to minus 70. That's all. Part C now. Using algebra showing each step of your working, fully factorize f of x. F of x is basically x minus 3 times 3x square plus x plus a. We know a is minus 17 minus 35. So we are going to just write it in the standard form by opening the bracket. So take x and multiply everything, you will get 3x cubed plus x square minus 17x. Take minus 3 and multiply everything, minus 9x square minus 3x plus 51 minus 35. So f of x is going to be 3x cubed minus 8x square when you simplify these two. And then minus 17 minus 3 is minus 20x. 51 minus 35 is 16. We got the function, and in part A it says 3x minus 2 is a factor, so we are going to use 3x minus 2 to divide the function using long division method. So 3x cubed minus 8x square minus 20x plus 16. Use 3x minus 2 on long division method, it's going to be x square. So we'll get 3x cubed minus 2x square, change the sign. This will be cancelled, minus 6x square, bring down the next term. Multiply by minus 2x. So we'll get minus 6x square plus 4x, change the sign. Get minus 24x, bring down the next term, plus 16. Multiply by minus 8, you'll get minus 24x plus 16, change the sign, becomes 0. You have to get 0 because 3x minus 2 is a factor. So you can write this as the divisor times the quotient. They want you to fully factorize it, so factorize the quadratic also. 2 4s are 8, so x minus 4 times x plus 2. That's all. That's a 5-mark question. Question number 5. Sketch the curve with the equation this. This is an exponential graph. So when you sketch the exponential graph, you need to know this. This is very important. Because if a is between 0 to 1, the graph will be like this. If a is greater than 1, if a is greater. If a is between 0 to 1, the graph will be this. So we know we are dealing with this graph actually. That's why the condition is very important. So draw the y-axis, x-axis, and always label the axis first on the origin. And draw this graph without touching the x-axis, and the y-intercept is 0, 1. That's all, nothing else. You'll be given 2 marks for this. Part B now. That's trapezium rule. We have a table. Use trapezium rule to find the estimate of this. Usually for trapezium rule you will be given 3 marks. So you need to write the h first. Otherwise you will lose a mark. H is the common difference, 0.5. Mention that first and then apply trapezium rule. Integral 2 to 4 x square plus half to the power x dx is, this is the rule, h over 2 times the first and last values of y. 4.25 plus 16.06 plus 2 times sum of the rest of the y values. 6.427, 9.125, 12.34. Now, many students are making mistake not here in the rule but when they try to put everything in the calculator. So you have to be double careful here. Let's do it. Okay. 0.5 over 2 times, you open bracket once, 4.25 plus 16.06. So I'm looking at the number to make sure I'm correct. I'm typing the numbers correctly. And then plus 2 times, second time I open the bracket, so I need to close the bracket twice. 6.427 plus 9.125 plus 12.34, close the bracket again, press equal. Okay, they want the answer to 4 significant figure. Sorry, not 4 significant figure. It says y values are given to 4 significant figure. They just want you to find the estimate. So I'm going to round it to 3 significant figure. That's just 19.0. And immediately I store this value as A in case if we want the value later. Let's move on to part C now. Using your answer to part B, making your method clear, estimate this. Okay, in part B the answer was 2 to 4. The integral was x square plus half to the power x dx is 19.0 something, right? Okay, so I'm gonna open the bracket here, so we'll get x square minus 3x plus half to the power x dx. We need only x square and half power x, right? So I'm gonna split it. So first one is integral minus 3x dx, and then x square plus half power x dx. I hope you understand this. I have split the integral actually into 2 integrals. The limit is 2 to 4. Okay, did I put 2 to 4 here? Yep. The first one is a normal integration actually. When you integrate, you're going to get minus 3x square over 2. The limit is 2 to 4. Plus, here you use the answer from part A, 19.0 ... and then get the value. When you sub in upper limit, 4 square is going to be 16 over 2 is 8. 8 3s are minus 24. Minus. When you sub in lower limit, 2 square is 4 over 2 is 2, minus 6, so it becomes plus 6, plus 19.0 ... So I'm going to calculate the value now. Minus 24 plus 6 is minus 18, plus I store the values A. So I'm getting 1.0235. 1.0235. You can round it to 3 significant figure. 1.02. That's all.